This is not a commercial for Spam, but it'll sound like one. It'll sound like one because I'm gonna say stuff like,
Spam is the reason I don't completely hate myself.
this is how my umma would cook Spam most of the time. Slice and fry over low to medium heat until it crisps up. Flip over each slice, let it crisp again. Serve with rice and banchan. Spam is way too salty and intense to eat as the star of a meal. This is why, in my opinion, Spam found a place on Korean dinner tables, which are always a great symphony of side dishes of which the protein is just one note.
And yes, washing dishes does take forever in a Korean home.
Kimbap is basically a sushi roll, except you can put anything you want in it. Traditional ingredients include these pickled radish thingies, spinach, eggs, and your choice of meat. My amma tends to cycle between bulgogi, imitation crab, and Spam. Perfect for road trips and vacations. Maybe too perfect. If you see a Korean ajumma going through airport security, don't be surprised if you see her take out 2 giant Tupperwares full of kimbap out of her suitcase. I'm not joking, I'm not exaggerating. If anything, I'm underselling it because she absolutely has, at minimum, 4 giant Tupperwares full of kimbap, and a jar of kimchi, and probably a bag of those little shrimp crackers. It's perfect for school lunches too, and Amma would pack me neat rows of kimbap for me at school, as I'm sure her mom did for her. The kids at school, though, thought it looked weird and foreign. I hated being looked at as weird and foreign, so I demanded that my lunches be the same as everyone else's. Bad ham sandwiches or Lunchables only. It triggered a sense of crippling self-doubt that persists to this day. I hated being Korean. Girls would pretend to have crushes on me to make their friends laugh. White friends would come over and complain about the kimchi smell from the fridge. Shame swept through my body like a plague, killing most of my Koreanness. And I let it happen. Encouraged it even. I saw it as purification and realized much too late that it was decimation. Korean was my first language, now I can barely speak it at all. Shame killed it. Shame convinced me I was unlovable. Shame taught me what clothes to wear, what music to listen to, who to desire. And none of those things were Korean in origin. But even against all that weight, my appetite for the food never wavered. I was trying to leave the party, but the food was too damn good, and so I stayed, and then discovered I actually liked the people there. When I went to college, I didn't know how to cook any of this stuff. That wouldn't come until much later. But I always had a rice cooker. I always had a jar of kimchi. And I always had Spam. To me, this is it. This is the best food in the whole world. There is no better bite of food than a spoonful of kimchi jjigae followed by a spoonful of white rice. Spicy, salty, sour, it's got a bit of fermented funk, it's fatty from the Spam, it's got tofu soaked through with the world's most perfect broth. This right here, this is what kept me attached to my Koreanness. I know how to make a few Korean dishes now, and when I really miss my family, I cook. I know when I get it right. I know it with one taste. Does this feel like home, or doesn't it? There are no criteria beyond that.